Welcome back to the third new episode of Limitless Nerd for 2026. I am very happy to have a really awesome guest, Brandon. He is a contributor to Star Wars Insider and StarWars.com. You know him from the Star Wars Encyclopedia, the new Encyclopedia of Starfighters, which we will talk about in a few minutes,
Look at that. Yeah.
and literally anything else Star Wars. You probably know Brandon, the host of Talking Bay 94. Brandon, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, the first thing I want to ask you, which is a good place to start for everybody, I want to know where did your Star Wars journey begin? Where was it introduced to you? What's your Star Wars origin story?
Yeah. Um, so I apparently my grandfather showed me it on VHS. I think it was Return of the Jedi. I remember it very vaguely of like the droids in the desert going to Jabba's palace. But then from there, it was really the special editions. I was very lucky. Well, I am 33, which means in 1997, I was the perfect age to watch the special editions in the theater. It was all marketing. It was all you could buy fast food, Star Wars toys. Power of the Force 2 was out. Like it was like Star Wars with a new movie, effectively. And so I was very lucky to have gotten that and then immediately kind of thrust into the prequels and kind of never stopped in a terrible way. It has not ended since, but I'm very lucky. I think I was the perfect age, maybe of any Star Wars fan, just because I got to experience not only the original trilogy kind of untarnished and then prequel trilogy as it was coming out, and then even as animation was rolling out, I was still kind of like in the loop and on top of things. I grew up reading the Star Wars books. Actually, my floor is covered with them right now. My half price books by my house have like a crazy collection that just came in. So I went three different times and picked up a bunch of the books from my childhood because these are
Oh,
all
yeah.
unread. These are all the spines have never been cracked. I'm like, oh great, okay, I'll pick those up for $3. And so yeah, I've been very lucky. And yeah, that's kind of the start of it, and it deepened and grew from there. But special editions, I will always hold a candle for.
Yeah. That's cool because I mean, I guess I forgot that when they did the special edition, they re-released all of them in theaters.
Yeah, and month to month,
I'd
it was.
forgotten
I
that.
saw. I think it was January. Star Wars. And I was like, wow, that's great. Wow, what a movie. And then February they put out Empire Strikes Back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, another Star Wars movie. And then I went home and I was like, great, okay, Darth Vader is Luke's father, got it, okay. And then I went and saw Return of the Jedi the next month. Like it was like I still had to wait a second, but it wasn't
Yeah,
anything too crazy. And so that was really really special for sure.
that's wild. So when did your love for Star Wars, have your own podcast, Talking Bay 94, and that is completely dedicated to interviewing. So when did the love of Star Wars, when did the content creation part of it come in?
That's a great question. Um, I've always loved Star Wars, and I've always really loved the behind the scenes of Star Wars. That's kind of almost more than I like Star Wars, which is a lot. I like how they made it, and the documentaries and the books and everything almost more. And so I was lucky again, talking about luck and talking about we were talking before there. Living in the DFW area, there was a convention called Star Wars Fan Days that we creators of Star Wars Celebration, the runners of Star Wars Celebration, also ran Rebel Scum, which is funny. The Rebel Scum and they had official picks, which was like the
Yeah,
official
yeah.
autographs of Star Wars. And in the off years of Star Wars Celebration, they'd have a mini Star Wars Celebration at the Plano Center, a mile from my house. And it was like the craziest guests and very kid accessible, very young fan accessible, free autographs from like Ben Burt or Don, like crazy to be able to go to that at that time. And so again, I always loved kind of the actors and the behind the scenes and the crew. And so then when The Last Jedi came out, I was just pumped. I felt really good. I was like, oh, maybe more people are talking about Star Wars. because I've been really involved in the fan community again when I was like in my high school years. I kind of learned how to use the internet to like find prequel spoilers, and but then I fell out a little bit of the actual fandom community while I was in college. And I graduated college. I saw Last Jedi, and I was like, wait, I wonder if there are Star Wars podcasts still, because I used to listen to a few back in the day. And I found a podcast called Blast Bunnies, which still exists. Jason and Gabe, some very, very good friends of mine in the space now, and they spoke Star Wars in a way that I spoke Star Wars. Very
Yeah.
uh, loving, very kind, very fun. Star Wars is goofy. Star Wars is comedy. Star Wars is, a very important thing, and you have to be able to treat it in a very specific way. And they did that, and I felt very good about it. And then I listened to probably 50 of their episodes over that Christmas break during Last Jedi, and I texted my buddy who is my producer, and I was like, I would like to do a Star Wars podcast. I see in this space there's a lot, but no one's really doing these one-on-one interviews. Like at the time, it was Nerdist and Mark Maron were big examples of that, and I kind of just took that all, balled it all up, and did a bunch of interviews leading into the Solo premiere. So it took me about 6 months to get my stuff together, and kind of was wheeling and dealing ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you're how many episodes of Talking Bay are there now? I know
That's a great
you're
question. I think
right
it's
around
about
200.
180. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
close. We're close. And I still talking about Rebel Scum Con. I still have these crazy interviews that I have not edited from Rebel Scum Con that I need to. But yeah, it's been really fun, and just something, maybe the thing I'm the most proud of, just because stuck with it for a really long time.
Yeah. And I love that you're such a fan of the behind the scenes because Empire of Dreams is one of my favorite
Yeah,
Star Wars things probably ever.
yeah. I consider it maybe one of the best Star Wars movies. Like really, when I have my ranking somewhere, and it's like three or four up there. Same with the
Yeah.
beginning, or both. I think perfect,
Yeah.
like Star Wars things, like you were trying to articulate. Like it doesn't matter that they're nonfiction, that they're behind the scenes. They are intrinsically
Yeah.
Star Wars in a really special way.
Yeah. I mean, Empire of Dreams, the beginning, within a minute.
With a minute puppets
Uh,
to pixels, and then you have
yeah.
the old ones too, which I didn't really grow up with as much. There's a From Star Wars to Jedi, and Classic Creatures, and there's a Empire special effects one, and those are really good and really fun. But
Yeah.
you're right, like it's the DVD ones that I still really kind of latch onto as like perfect
Yeah.
Star Wars things.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's not just Star Wars. I mean, I love there's a series on Disney Plus about how they do all the Marvel movies, and I just watched the Stranger Things
Yeah, I
documentary
did too. I
yesterday,
finished that yesterday too.
and so I
I mean,
definitely.
if you haven't watched it, Light and Magic on Disney Plus is also
Yeah.
incredible. Really
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
really fun, and I'm glad they made it. A season two of that was crazy, actually, and I feel like people didn't talk about it that much, and so I actually probably should rewatch that. The other good one is the
Yeah.
Imagineering story, which is all about the Disney
Yes.
Imagineers. That one
Hundred
rocks. That
percent.
one's talking
Hundred
about Disney
percent.
Plus stuff.
100%. So you have actually gotten to do something that not a lot of, well, I mean, everybody that does, I feel like, has to be a Star Wars fan to some degree, but you have contributed to a lot of different Star Wars with your writing. Where did which one did you start with? Did you start with .com or did you start with Insider?
I started with Insider, and actually today, this morning, I turned in my last Insider thing ever, which is a
Ugh,
big bummer, real big
yeah,
bummer.
yeah,
But I got really lucky. It was during the pandemic. The company I was working for closed down. I drove to Wyoming from Texas and stayed in a cabin outside of Devil's Tower, which is where they filmed Close Encounters. And I kind of just like was like, what do I want to do? What am I liking? I'm really enjoying this podcast. I'm really enjoying what I've been doing. How do I take it to another level without necessarily, And I've always written. I've always considered myself a writer. I've always loved writing. And what I did is I took some of my Talking Bay episodes and transcribed them, and turned them into articles that I felt like could be in Star Wars Insider. I grew up reading Star Wars Insider. It was my favorite thing. Like it really did kind of shape how I think about Star Wars in a very similar way to those behind the scenes documentaries. And I dug and dug and dug and dug, and I found the editor's email. Like it was like he doesn't have social media. He's not really anywhere, and like I got really lucky, and I sent them a note and with a couple spec articles like, hey, here's kind of people I interview. Here's how I could write. Here's how I could help. I didn't hear for like 6 months, and then he reached out. And he was like, I would love to, see what you can do, and it turned out really well, and that it kind of all spiraled from there. I'm very lucky. His name is Chris Cooper, the editor of Star Wars Insider, shepherded the past probably 10, 15 years, and took a chance on me. And that turned into a lot of different things, including writing for .com, which again, I'd been trying to write for StarWars.com since college, since I think about The Force Awakens. Maybe it's about that Last Jedi time as well, where I'd reached out, kind of had sent some of my stuff, never really heard. I followed up like every few months, really for 3 years, 4 years, and then finally heard back. And that's become a really nice regular contribution. I feel really great to be a part of that, like really incredible team. And yeah, it's just kind of spiraled from there, snowballed from there. And again, really, really lucky because you said, as you said, not a lot of Star Wars fans get to do that.
Yeah. So how long have you been with Insider? You said around the pandemic, so probably
Yeah, about 5 years. I think
five
it's pretty
five
much
years.
exactly 5 years, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have a favorite piece that you've written for Insider?
That's a great question. I'm looking at them all. I think I ended up writing, including the ones I turned in today, I think I ended up writing 34 or 35 pieces for them, which is like, again, talking about what I love about Star Wars and what has been important to me, like, the very specific types of articles that were in Insider while I was reading them as a, kid and teenager, were, like, behind the scenes and interviews with, like, very specific aliens and people very similar to my Talking Bay interviews, and then a lot of oral histories, a lot of like, oh, we talked to all the Ewoks, or we talked to whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I really got to do a lot of that. I pitched that. It was like a lot of it, I made it much harder on myself, um, because it would require me interviewing 5 or 6 people as opposed to just 1. And, but I did some really great ones, that I'm very proud of. I did an inside Jabba the Hutt with all the puppeteers inside Jabba the Hutt. I did, an Ewok one with, like, as many Ewoks as I could get. I did a Twi'lek one of anyone who ever wore Leku. I did a Max Rebo Band one, and it was, like, every single Max
oh
Rebo Band
gosh,
member as best I
wow.
could, including, like, the special edition changes and the original Slice Noodles, like, all this, like, really, uh, stuff that I'm just very proud of because, again, I don't know how many people read it or what it did, but it really did, again, kind of formalize some of the record, and I was really able to tell that story in a way that I'm very proud of. So those are some that really stand out to me even now.
Yeah, and I mean, it has to be cool just growing up as a fan of both just Star Wars Insider, but then just Star Wars in general, to be able to go to a Barnes and Noble or wherever and pick up something with the Star Wars logo and your name on it.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy,
mean
and,
that.
the first time it happened, it was crazy, and the most recent time it happened, it's crazy every time, and it only really gets crazier. It's very cool to be associated with the brand in any way, let alone, like, my face or my name or my words or whatever. It's all very flattering and all, I'm very,
Yeah,
very lucky. Yeah, very cool.
and you were it. I have it sitting over there, but the new Star Wars Encyclopedia that came out 2 years ago, I think.
Mhm, about, yeah.
Um, you're one of the many people that were a part of that. When did you come into the process on that?
Yeah, I got, again, all luck and all. One of my former guests, Amy Rakow, a really good friend of mine, she did me 2 huge favors at Star Wars Celebration in London. One, she was my guest, at my live show in London, and then also during that convention, we, were at the Titan Comics, like, booth table with our editor, with our Star Wars Insider editor, because she's also a writer, and it was very cool. Like, we had a little, like, signing time or whatever because I had some issues of our stuff, and it was kind of a meet and greet with Star Wars Insider contributors. It was really fun. And she texted me. She's like, "Hey, I don't think you have a shift today at the booth, but you should come down here. I have someone I want you to meet." And she ended up introducing me to someone who works at DK, and so they said we'll be in touch. And so I was just kind of recommended by people who trusted me and who I'd worked with. Uh, and that really turned into the encyclopedia, which again, like you were saying, I worked with a lot of like really talented, really cool people. I did some really fun, that was my first like book work, and ended up really kind of diving in a different way. I call it nonfiction for fiction, right? You treat it like it's a real universe. You treat it like it's a real ecosystem, and that was
Yeah.
a really fun challenge. That then continued in the book that you have next to you with the Starfighters. Again, like you kind of treat it like it's real, and that's always
Yeah.
a fun challenge.
In Do you remember some of the specific excerpts in the encyclopedia that you did? Because there's not all the authors are just in the front.
Yeah, they don't have it next to everything that we wrote. The ones I mainly focused on, because there was a lot of updating, and then there was a lot of new entries. And so I did a lot of the new entries specifically for Star Wars Episode 9 at the time, which was really fun because there wasn't that much to find. It was just Pablo's visual dictionary book, and then I think the
Yeah.
novelization and the junior novelization, and then the movie itself. And so when you approach something like that, you kind of just take everything out of the source material and you just put it all on a page, and then you try to, you know, firm up the story from there. And so that was a really fun challenge. So, and then the other big one for me, I read a lot of the Marvel comics, and so I kind of tackled as much of that as possible. So all like the new characters and the things that happen in the current canon in Marvel comics. Those are my two
Yeah.
major contributions, I think, in that book. Besides, and then we did random stuff, but those are my big chunks.
Yeah, I mean that I can't possibly imagine how many people it takes to put a book like that
Well,
together.
I can tell you exactly how many, which is what, 7 authors or whatever, and then the real unsung heroes of all these DK projects that you have are the editors and the layout and the graphic designers. Like insane, because like all we do is we put it in a huge Excel sheet, right? A huge Google form, right? And then like we do some edits and they'll send us pages and stuff, but the brunt of the work, the organizational work, it comes from the editors, and then they kind of make sure everything from 7 authors, 8 authors, or whatever sounds like it's coming from the same source. Like hopefully you're not going from entry to entry being like, oh, that's written by a different person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
um and then also just how they're laid out is like gorgeous, and like again, it can just be a bunch of words on a page, or it can be something that's actually usable and actually and so you're right, it takes a huge team and a really talented, really cool team that I'm very proud to be a small part of.
Yeah. And I that was actually my next question because I was curious like how far is does the words come first or do they have the book more or less laid out and then y'all fill in the rest or
Yeah,
you
it's a
know.
little bit of both, and I think you can I can use the Starfighters book as an example where it came pretty fully formed in the sense I had an Excel sheet that was, hey, here are the 200 ships or whatever. Here it is. Here's generally the time period they're from. Go for it. And here's like generally like we need a big paragraph, 2 small paragraphs, the data, and then a few images to call from. And then I can come in and recommend a few other ones or take out some stuff or come with questions. Um, and then from there, yes, all the words. And then they're kind of laying it out at the same time, especially for a book like the Starfighters book. And so then I'm also getting passes of the pages to then look and edit and firm up and say, hey, let's try to move
Yeah,
this
cuz I
here or
mean
whatever. Yeah.
this is crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
to
So all
do
the
to do
yeah.
that 200 times.
Yes. And then it was fun because then they send you the image and
Yeah.
they say, all right, let's point to what this stuff is. Right. And so then you have to go to all these other different resource books, cross sections and things that have existed before. And then you're literally like putting arrows at things and writing, exhaust port or whatever, which is, it is fun. So
Yeah. So for like the Starfighters book because you were the sole writer on that one.
mhm.
How long does it take you to get just say one of those 200 starfighters? I mean,
Oh,
is that
sure.
something you can hammer out pretty fast or you got
Yeah.
500 reference books all over your desk and
Well,
you're
it's a little bit of both. It does take me a while. It took me about a summer to write Starfighters. And how I approach it, every author is different. How I approach it, though, is a little bit at a time. So let's say my goal is to do 5 or 10 in this current batch and then send them off. For those 10 vehicles, um, I kind of info dump first. I look at everything, especially for a ship that's not like the Millennium Falcon or something that's been in
Yeah.
only 2 or 3 things. It's pretty easy to truly find every single source. Like I don't, the only thing we use Wikipedia for, which they're great at, is the sources tab at the bottom, which says every single time something has appeared, which is an incredible resource. But then from there, I go into every single one of those resources, right? If it's in 15 comic issues and a video game and whatever, I say, okay, let me look at these 15 comic issues. Let me write the bullets that I can see out of this. And that takes time, obviously. If you're doing it for a little bundle, then but then after that is done, it ends up being relatively easy to then truncate and synthesize and tell the story. And but you use the actual words, you use the actual instances. And so I don't know, it probably takes, I think that about works out probably 2 or 3 a day in that kind of pace. And that's through the whole thing, which is pretty good pacing. And yeah, but it's a fun, like you're saying, like having all my reference books, having all my comics, like you can kind of,
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by books, and it's nice to actually use them for something. You feel good about it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is worth it. So
Yeah. I mean, the refer I've always been a huge fan. Like, I've always just been a big fan of the reference books. I mean, I started getting Star Wars reference books for Christmas when I was like really young.
yeah,
So yeah, I've always been a huge fan of the reference books, and they're so. The old ones are great, but I mean, they've come so far, and they're
yeah,
just such a just treasure trove of fun facts and things you didn't know and things you thought you knew but you were wrong. And
right,
you know though yeah, I we could talk about reference books for this entire
for
time.
sure.
But with your podcast and just with the experiences that you've gotten to interview just so many
Yeah,
just incredible people that have been a part of Star Wars. Are there any particular interviews or stories or experiences that you've gotten to have just as a fan that stick out to you? Because I know you've been to some premieres and
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, it's a great question. Again, I've been so lucky, like truly insane stuff for the past almost 10 years now, right? Like just the most insane Star Wars experiences that any fan can have. And I just feel so lucky because I'm able to not only do the book stuff, but then like you were saying, go to the premieres. And I mean, big one was Indiana Jones. Actually, it wasn't even Star Wars. It was Indiana Jones. It's almost more important to me than Star Wars sometimes. And so going to that
yeah,
premiere, I shook Harrison Ford's hand. Like it was like crazy stuff. I was really chuffed there. This summer, the craziest opportunity that really anyone in the content creating space has had in a long time. We got invited to Lucasfilm to interview Tony Gilroy and Alan Tudyk, as well as a representative from Skywalker Sound, who I'm blanking on her name. And they curated this whole day for us. It was like really intense, and some of my really good friends from the space, including Blast Points, um, came. And I'd never gotten a tour of Lucasfilm. I'd never been inside. Like it was kind of just like this
yeah,
day that I hold very specially. It was a really special, and then plus Tony on top of that was incredible, and they took us to a mini volume space and had Alan come out and like show us how K2SO walks, like really crazy stuff. Who Alan Tudyk grew up in Plano, so that's what I talked to
yeah,
Alan Tudyk about. I was like, oh, Alan Tudyk, Plano boy, um, maybe Richardson, um, and so that was a big one. um, Anytime I get a roundtable opportunity is always great. Not only to be able to interview the talent, but then it's kind of this community that has grown of people who have similar, thinking and how they operate and how they think about Star Wars. And that's really nice to be able to fall back on that. I've made some really, really great friends in the space I talk to every day. And that is something that again I probably wouldn't have thought about when I was first starting out. And that's maybe the most special thing that's come out of this whole thing. It's just the friends I've made, and the 5 different group
yeah,
chats that I have now from all this.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, as a very new creator in the Star Wars space, yeah, the Friends is just it's the corny answer, but it's also the
Oh,
most true
it's the
answer.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
the whole reason to do anything,
yeah,
especially, you know, I'm sure I've lost money on Talking Bay, over the, you know what I mean? Like, you're not doing this for money or for
no,
gift boxes or whatever, and it's like, you gotta just do it because you like doing it and because, like, you like being around these people.
yeah,
And so that's been really nice that I like being around, most of these people.
yeah. And I mean, going to Lucasfilm, that has to be,
Oh, yeah, it's crazy, and, I got lucky because I'd been to Skywalker Ranch. One of my listeners and friends works at the ranch, and she was like, "Hey, if you're gonna be here, let's do it. Let's do the tour," and it was awesome, and it's, like, the most beautiful place on earth,
yeah,
and, you're walking around them and it's, like, again, very lucky, like, yeah, I feel very, very fortunate to be able to have done that and to have been invited to do that, and, man, would have had no clue about that 10 years ago, and just the fact that I could have do it now is incredible, so,
yeah. I mean, that's definitely. I think it's probably on every Star Wars fan's bucket list.
for sure.
And something else that I think is on every Star Wars fan's bucket list. I know it's on mine, and I hope to check it off soon. Is Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
I have never been to a celebration.
Oh,
I hope to change that in
yeah.
LA. You've been to a handful of celebrations. What as somebody that's never been to one, can you sum up what the experience of celebration is like?
Yeah. I was really lucky because I got to go to Celebration 4 in Anaheim or in LA, in 2007, so I was 14, and that was, like, crazy, like, we went with my family, I went a couple days, saw Irvin Kershner, like, crazy stuff for just a big nerd. And I didn't go back to a celebration for a very long time until the podcast, and me and my producer went to Chicago, and I think that was our first one. That was his first one ever. That was my second one in 10 years or whatever it was. And it was a really magical time. It was a really beautiful, like, it was kind of right at the heels of like The Last Jedi, everyone at each other's necks. And you go there and everyone is just chill and cool and everyone likes Star Wars. And you're like, oh, this is nice. I got some crazy interviews. It snowed, and it was so much fun. You got to meet people in person that I'd interacted with, and it was really special. And then we've kind of been, I got to go to Anaheim for the next one. I went with my wife to um, London and then Japan, and I worked Japan for StarWars.com also, and like really, again, really fortunate stuff to be able to travel for Star Wars and have an excuse to go to a different country for Star Wars. And this most recent one in Japan was so cool because the Japanese fans are very specific with how they like Star Wars, and I like love that specificity and just being able to interact with how a different culture perceives something that I'm very familiar with was very special. So yeah, please make it out to one. Although I'll say, like, similar to those fan days, the mini celebrations when I was growing up, the Rebel Scum Cons currently really are, I don't want to even say like mini celebrations. Like, they are a way that you can really find Star Wars community and revel in that Star Wars community. And the biggest differences are that they're much bigger at Star Wars celebrations and that there's more official stuff. But Rebel Scum will give you it got me my celebration dosage this year. I felt good leaving that. I felt like I did after I left, Japan. So
Yeah, I mean, we were joking before we started recording that we've been to two Rebel Scum Cons and yet never never
yeah,
met
no,
before.
yeah,
But yeah, no, and both growing up in the Dallas area, Rebel Scum Con is very home base for me.
yeah,
Um, shout out to the guys that run the show over there. But yeah, I was gonna ask you to compare Celebration to Rebel Scum Con, but you more or less just did that. So
yeah.
uh, yeah, I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready.
Favorite Star Wars movie?
Okay, it's just Star Wars. It's just A New Hope. is just it's the best one. It's great. My ranking because then I've been going a little crazy recently, and I think my number two is Phantom Menace though. Like it goes four than one, which um and then I put Jedi there, and then Empire, and then I put Attack of the Clones, and then and then Revenge of the Sith, and Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Not that I love the sequels, but I've really come into appreciation for um, you know just Star Wars, just the original Star Wars is just a
Yeah,
perfect movie. So
I uh, I love A New Hope more than I think most people do. And I got to see the Dallas Symphony Orchestra did one of those movies in
that's awesome.
concert for A New Hope a few years ago, and I mean, that'll change the experience for you.
Yeah, it's watching it completely differently. It really
Yeah,
it's incredible. I did that with Empire. We went and saw Empire. I think it was with the DSO as well. Um, and you're just like, oh, I didn't know that this happened in the movie. Like you've seen it so many times, and you're seeing it
yeah,
for the first time, and it's really special.
yeah. Um, Favorite show?
Great question.
There's so many
cheating to
now.
say it's cheating to say Light and Magic, and it's kind of cheating to say Visions. But Star Wars Visions is like my favorite post Disney acquisition thing that Star
Wow,
Wars has ever
really?
done. Everything that it is, the series, the three seasons, but then also the book, the Ronin book, the toys, the comic books, which are like not even there's a retelling one of Ronin I think now, but it's just like other ideas are in these comic books, and I think it's so smart. And again, it really um, synthesizes for me like what Star Wars means to people, and I think that's super cool. So yeah, my like uh, trick answer is Visions.
I've never had somebody say Visions, so
Yeah, there you go. Add
that's
it to the
a good
list.
answer. Favorite Star Wars character?
Mm. It's Han Solo, which is such a lame answer, but it's Han. You
It's a
know,
good answer though.
I love Lando. I love R2. I love Jar Jar Binks. I love Kylo Ren. Um, but yeah, it has to. And I love Obi Wan, especially. I love old Obi Wan. I love Ewan McGregor. But I think at the end of the day, it's Han Solo because it's Harrison Ford, and I was just kind of like, it's my guy, and it's
Yeah, yeah. I know you're a big indie guy too, so that probably
yeah,
helps.
big indie guy, big Blade Runner guy, big fugitive guy, any big working girl guy, anything. Anything Harrison Ford, big Shrinking guy. I don't know if you've watched Shrinking yet on Apple TV.
Uh,
Is like his latest because Harrison's never won an Academy Award or anything. He's never won anything, and he got
which is
nominated
crazy,
finally for an Emmy for Shrinking. And I really do think it is his best performance he's ever done.
really.
It's really really sweet, really good. He's really good in it. But yeah, long answer to say Han Solo number one.
Yeah, getting to meet him at the indie premiere had to be like a
Oh,
highlight of
yeah,
life for you.
it was crazy, and it was not planned. I was being a very good boy. I was not gonna like go and do anything, but I was just kind of you're on the separate carpet, sort of, from like the
Yeah,
actual, Steven Spielberg or whatever. So me and Blast Points were just kind of standing there. We're like, oh my god, there's Harrison Ford. Like he was 10 feet away from us, but it's still there he is. And then the guy next to me calls to him. He's like, Harrison, Harrison. I'm like, what are you doing? And Harrison like waves at him and walks over, and he like recognized him. And I guess he had gotten him into the premiere. Like he had given him the tickets. He's like, thanks so much for the tickets. So thank you. Like, awesome. This is my wife. Thank you for, thank you for. And so he's just going down the line, like shaking hands. And I'm just there. And so like it was perfect because like
yeah,
I'm not trying to make Harrison Ford mad at me, right? But like he was
yeah,
gracious. I said, have a great night. He's like, good to see you, and then moved on. And all of my friends are just like watching this happen behind me, all these other podcasters, because like I was not trying to meet Harrison Ford. And just like he literally like ran
yeah,
into me. And someone like grabbed like a blurry photo, and I was like, oh my God, like craziest. And I was very flustered, like, because I don't really, starstruck is starstruck. I get it, and I don't really, especially because I've interviewed so many people. I know kind of how to operate. You have to be at another level, and I
yeah.
was very flustered. I was very overwhelmed. during that whole evening. But yeah, that was
I
the
mean,
night, really,
that is the definition of right place, right time.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I know you're a book guy. I can see a ton of
Yeah,
books behind you. We were talking about it earlier. Do you have a favorite Star Wars book?
yeah. There's two answers. The one that really is the reason for everything is The Making of Star Wars, J.W. Rinsler.
Yeah,
Incredible book, perfect book, a really interesting. It's not complete, right? Because there's not a lot of Marsha Lucas stuff in there because Lucas had a very strict hand with the book itself. But for what it is and for how it's told and really kind of define like how making of books should be made, that is maybe my favorite one. One I revisit the most. I have it on my iPad. I have it as physical. I have it as paperback. Whatever. I have it everywhere. Um, and then I do always have to say it's such a lame. Oh, and Revenge of the Sith, Matthew Stover, perfect book. Like not even a perfect Star Wars book, just like a perfect book, like an actual piece of literature. And very lucky to have talked to him recently, like just uh, twice, once for Insider, once for Talking Bay. Just really incredible stuff. And then Heir to the Empire, you always have to say it. You always have to, it's very early for me. I collect copies from different countries. I'll show you. I just got this in, um, which is this is I saw this and I had to. It's the Czech version, so it's a different cover and it's
Oh,
illustrated by a
whoa.
Czech artist. And inside are exclusive illustrations by this like really intense kind of abstract Czech artist. And so like these don't exist, like these aren't published anywhere else, but like
Oh,
really
wow.
fascinating, really crazy stuff. And so I got this and Dark Force Rising. The Dark Force Rising doesn't have as cool of a cover, but it also has the illustrations inside. And so I actually have not posted that I have these yet because I've been really, especially Dedic Imperia. I've had it on my list for like 5 years
Yeah,
trying to find, and finally someone I was able to connect with someone in Europe who sent them to me. And so,
that's wild.
um,
That's cool.
yeah. Anyway, that's a long answer to say those three books.
Yeah. Um, I'm not a huge gamer, and I don't know
Mhm.
about you, but do you have a favorite Star Wars game?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm not a huge gamer in the sense that I only have a Nintendo Switch. I love my Nintendo Switch. I played all the time. I loved what game just came out? They just closed it too. Was it Uprising? What was it called? Star Wars.
Oh,
The
Outlaws.
No, it was the Melee game. It was like they were trying to do Fortnite.
Oh, yeah,
Arena.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes,
Hunters, Star Wars Hunters. I had a
yes.
great time. Really fun, really fun. Um, but my favorites are from when I was a kid, and it's like N64, Pod Racer, the racer game is like I think
Yeah, yeah,
perfect. Big shout out to the Empire fan, even though it's like I think a terrible game, but like that era is very important to me.
yeah,
Um, that's Rogue Squadron again, like that kind of era of Star Wars games. KOTOR, obviously, but really, when I think about Star Wars, I think about Star Wars Racer, and I love they're coming out with a racing game, right? Like they just announced kind of
yeah,
like and so
yeah,
that'll be fun. Hopefully that comes to a system that I have, because I would like to play a little bit. Because I think when Star Wars does non-Star Wars games, if that makes sense, I think it's always fun
yeah,
to skin a game and make it Star Wars.
yeah. And I'm a collector, and I know you are as well. Do you have a favorite Star Wars item that you've gained over the last
Oh man, that's a great
10 years?
question. It's a great question, and I have so many, and I'm looking at them all. We could really, I mean, I don't know how much time we have. I can really just go through my room and show you
I
all the
mean, you
crap
can
that I have.
you can showcase a few. I've got the time.
You've got time. You've got time. Let's see what I can do. Can I early? I'm unplugging I'm just gonna take you around my room. And you can see it all. And so here's the
Yeah,
ground right now. Here's all the books that I'm trying to clean. But here, these are let me know if this is a good angle. This is my pride and joy shelf. It's like my podcast corner, but it's these Regal Robot maquettes. Um, and it's a company called Regal Robot, and I think they're incredible, but they do one of one replicas of the actual clay sculptures that the can you see this? Is this working? Yes, this is working.
yeah, yeah,
Of like Return of the Jedi. Like when they were making Return of the Jedi, they would first do a sketch, and then they would make a little guy, and then George Lucas would be like, "Yes, I love that guy," and then they were like, "Okay, great, we're going to make him into a mask. We're going to make him into a guy," and so Regal Robot has been doing one of one replicas of all those little guys, and
Love it.
that is very important to me. So okay, that's good. No, I'm standing up now, so we can do whatever we want. Okay, here is I just got this last year. This his name is Charlie Bailey. He's a model maker, and he worked on Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and ILM, and he sculpted the tiny Millennium Falcon that was on the back of the Star Destroyer when they were hiding from the
Yeah, yeah,
Empire.
yeah.
And so he did replicas. He was like, I have my original mold. I'm gonna do replicas. And there it is. And so I bought that. I felt good about that. Ooh, I do love this. I showed this to um, Grayson and Will, but I have a
Oh, that's cool.
vending machine, and it works. It's a working vending machine light. And I thought it's funny for my Black Series
Oh,
toys.
yeah,
It's great.
that's cool.
Yeah, I commissioned it, or a guy on Instagram makes those.
That
Here's my
yeah,
Lucasfilm Limited
I
blanket.
might
I
need
have a
I might
there
need
you
that
go.
guy's name.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Art, just a real art. But that's pretty much it. Those are the crazy things in my immediate vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously I love collecting. You saw the brunt of it, but it's overtaking my life. It's everywhere. It's a nightmare, but it's fun. I
As
keep it all in this
yeah,
room, really.
as a collector who is not just behind me but surrounding me, I
Yeah.
can yeah, that's always I always have to ask the collecting question. I'm curious, and this may you may have an answer to this, you may not. Um, what is your what is your Star Wars hot take?
Oh, that's a great question. I have so many hot takes, and we can just do them
I
all, really.
yeah,
Hot take number
go.
one, and I
Let's see what
stand
you
by it
got.
still, which is all Star Wars is good Star Wars. All Star Wars is good Star Wars, and not to
That's
say
not a
that like
hot take on this show.
no, it's like I think all Star Wars has merit. All Star Wars, you have to come to it from where it's coming from, right? Even the ones I don't like as much or whatever, there are things in there to love. There are things in there to enjoy, and the things that you don't like, you can move on. But I've never seen a Star Wars thing that I've like actively disliked. Everything has something, uh, and that's kind of how I operate. Even like the holiday special, right? That's well, I love it all, but like you have Boba Fett, you have things in things that you can gravitate towards and love. That's one. Um, one I don't know, hot take wise. I don't really have any hot takes about like movies or whatever. Again, they're all fine, they're all good, and some are excellent and some are great, and some are pretty good. And my biggest and I it's not even a hot take, it's just kind of like a philosophy is my hot take for collectors, like you have something that's very well curated and very organized. But I do some people kind of run into if it says Star Wars, I have to buy it. And you spend so much money and time and space on just crap. And like
I
I've
did that for a
worked
while.
no, and I think everyone does. And so I think that's why it's important for me to like say it out loud. Like you have to just like kind of know to collect what you like and don't follow the trends if you don't need to. Don't get sucked into the hype or don't, because the other thing, a lot of these toys are so expensive now. They really are. Growing up, it's six
Yeah,
bucks or $5, whatever. And now it's like 20 or 30. And you have to really, so then again, I spend stupid money on Star Wars things, as you can see by the statues, but I I'm very focused and measured and like here's what I'm going to buy, here's what I'm going to collect. Even today when I bought all these books, the reason that I was like, "Oh no," is because I'm like, "Oh, these are the exact specifications that I need for my collection." Like I'm not buying things um just
just
like
for the sake of buying them. Yeah,
out of my heart, right? It's like, no, it's very measured. I have a big list on my phone of the things I'm missing. They have to be, whatever. Uh, and so that's kind of one of my hot takes. I don't know. Say something and let me. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like anything else. All the Disney Plus shows are fine. Um, I think the first season of Mandalorian is a perfect television show. Um, what else? I think The Last Jedi hates like overrated, but I also think like the absolute love for it is overrated too. I think like it's a very, very good Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That's fine. It shouldn't have broken the fandom. I think
I
Rise of
mean,
Skywalker is fine. It's not, I think it's
yeah.
fine.
I mean,
Um,
is there a character that is generally liked that you're not a huge fan of?
oh no, I don't know. I like most. Like, I kind of hinted at my hot take with ranking Phantom Menace second, but I think Phantom Menace is the best sequel movie, and I think Revenge of the Sith is a good movie, great movie. But I think it's maybe my least favorite of the original six. I think that's correct. It's my least favorite of the original six, if only because um, it's the least Lucasy. Lucas obviously did everything; he did it, but the pressures that came after Phantom Menace's reaction, right? And he's okay. Let's cut Jar Jar down to 3 minutes and then 30 seconds in Revenge of the Sith. Like that's not even like the problem with it. It's just indicative of how he was thinking, which was a little bit reactionary, a little bit,
Yeah,
like. And then when you finally get to Revenge of the Sith, and I love how it connects. It's getting closer and closer to A New Hope, but you lose some of like I think the weird charm of Phantom Menace, right? Like it's very bulbous and natural and Art Deco, and you as you get closer towards A New Hope, which you have to do, it does become a little bit more entrenched. I think a lot of people respond because it's darker and edgier, and oh, it's like the fights and all this stuff. But I think that diminishes kind of what one did, and even Attack of the Clones, what Attack of the Clones did. Um, because I think at the end of the day, like I'm a Lucas. I don't even say apologist. Like Lucas is my guy. Lucas is Star Wars for me. I think the best Disney Star Wars stuff that's come out of it is the stuff that reminds me the most of George Lucas. Um, and so yeah, hot take is Phantom Menace best of the prequels.
yeah, and I mean, I love what you said about all Star Wars is good Star Wars because
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I talk about this in every episode of my show, but um, I that's a big thing that I'm about, because there is a lot of just negativity. Um, but my thing with it always is everything that comes out is an opportunity to create new Star Wars fans.
Mm.
And the more Star Wars fans that are out there, the more conversations like the one that you and I are having right now can happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the more people that watch Star Wars that are invested in Star Wars, that love Star Wars is a good thing, right? And it's important to just make sure that you're welcoming and that you're exciting. And that's not to say like, you gotta, new fans are new fans, and you gotta be great to everybody. And if things are bad, if stuff happens that you're like, oh, that's not Star. What is going on? It's not to say like you should blanketly accept everything Star Wars has given to you that you watch, but at the same time, like they haven't done anything egregious yet in any
Yeah,
capacity, even close to egregious. And so I'm very tepid when it comes to just like hot
yeah,
takes. It's like no, just be kind and interesting, and and come at it at face value and how it's supposed to be, and just kind of allow Star Wars to be Star Wars.
yeah. Okay, Brandon, I have a game for you
Okay,
if you're down for that.
I'm ready.
And usually I pick a random category for this game, but since you are the author of the book on starfighters and vehicles,
Oh
that
no.
is the category that we're going to
Oh
go
god.
with.
Okay.
And this is blind ranking,
Okay.
and you have 10 slots.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 10 vehicles from your book,
Okay. Good.
and you are going to put them in whatever order you would like, 1 through 10.
Okay. One
So
being the best.
yes.
Okay.
So the first one that I will give you is just the original TIE fighter.
Mm, if If you had said the original X-wing, I'm like, great, number one, baby. But original Tie Fighter, I'll be measured. I'll say five, just right down the middle. We're at five.
Okay. So the next one is the Ghost.
Okay. Here's the thing, man. I love the Ghost. I love Rebels. It's not my not. It's not like when I see it, I'm like, great, awesome. But I'm not like, oh, I gotta have the Lego. I gotta have whatever. Right? It's like kind
There it
of
is on the floor.
there. It is. No, exactly. I would say six. I'm being measured. I'm trying to. I like it a lot. Really good. A very
Okay.
classic Star Wars design, and in a good way. In like, oh, I can't believe they came up with this design, and it never happened in 40 years or whatever. That takes tough stuff. But yeah, we'll say actually no, we'll say four. Let's bump it to four. Actually, it's
Bump it to four.
yeah, above Tie Fighter. I think that's fair.
How about, let's see. What do I want to do? I want to throw you something crazy. Let's do Anakin's pod racer since
Oh
you
man, number
are
one,
such
baby.
a
Hey, if you're gonna put that there, I feel confident that there will be no other ship that brings me the joy of seeing the yellow engines, the blue and silver cockpit, the pink electricity, the little designs. I think it's so cool and so funny, so weird. Again, talking about like weird. That's like weird stuff. He was like, I want to make hot rods in Star Wars, and boom, there they were.
yeah.
Number one, baby. You gave it to me, and I'm hitting it right out. It's number one.
Love it. I love it. What about the blockade runner?
That's great. First ship you ever see. Let's put that at six. Really do love that design. That was supposed to be obviously the Millennium Falcon. That was the original Millennium Falcon design,
Yeah.
and it looked too similar to Space 99, I think. Right? And so, yeah, number six. I think that's respectable. Respectable place.
Okay. How about the Falcon?
And I mean, yeah, just put it two. Yeah, just put it two. It's all good. My hot take though is my favorite chip, the one that I have right behind me. I don't know if you can see it actually behind this thing. But I have Lando's Millennium Falcon, and I love Lando's Millennium Falcon. I think that's so cool and so fun. Uh, but yeah, Millennium Falcon number two
Yeah, I will respect the love for Solo because I
for
just
sure.
love Solo as a movie.
Oh, it rocks. It's the movie I put on. If I'm thinking about like, I should watch a Star Wars movie right now, I'm like Golden Laundry or something. It's Solo. It's always Solo. It's so much fun.
A hundred,
He's
a
so
hundred
great.
percent.
Alden is Han Solo, and he doesn't do a Harrison Ford impression. He's a
Yeah,
great actor. It's really compelling. It's real fun, and I want them to make more stuff like that. And we'll see.
that to go on a small tangent. That's one of my hot takes that I think with Alden and Donald Glover as Lando, and you have Billy Lord. I think it's time to recast those
I think
original
so too.
characters.
I really do. I think it's better than deep faking it or whatever. I think it's fun to have a real actor doing the emotion, being the person. Um, yeah, I agree. It's not that
Yeah,
hot. I agree.
yeah. Okay, so the next vehicle is let's do something a little new. Let's do the Razor Crest.
Oh,
It's back there
okay.
too.
It's there too. I have it somewhere. I have something. Oh no, what I have. I love the Razor Crest again. Talking about designs that like are instantly Star Wars. Yeah, great job. I gotta put it seven. I think is that the lowest we have right now. Seven. It's not again. This is I like the Razor Crest a lot.
Uh, so you still have you have three, and then you have seven, eight, nine, and 10.
Okay, yeah, let's put it seven. I'm not gonna. I'm not putting it in my top three, but it's definitely not a bad ship. It's a great ship. I do love the N1. Obviously, as a the N1 was great, even though it like begged the question of like where is he stretching his legs on long trips, but I guess he's getting a Razor Crest in the new one. I guess we've
Yeah,
seen that. So it's back, I guess. I did
I
like that
hope.
they destroyed it. I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, cool, we're doing
Yeah,
something.
I hope the Razor Crest coming back doesn't mean that they blow the N1 up
You're
in the
telling me, man.
first
I
10
don't want
minutes
to.
of the
Can you
movie.
imagine if that's just how the movie starts? It's like, boom, we're back. Remember this other ship? It's all good. I don't know. We'll find out.
How about the AT-AT Battle of
Dang,
Hoth?
That's risky to put it at the 3 spot, but it's really good. It's a really good vehicle. And it is I don't buy that many Legos. I was tempted. I saw a picture on Instagram or something. The people that light the bricks, you can buy, like, brick lights,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they did it of, like, the giant AT-AT, the really big one. It's almost, like, ugly because it's just, like, 5,000 pieces of gray, you know? And you're like, "That's kinda funny."
Yes.
But then they lit it so that dangling down Luke with his lightsaber was blue, lit blue, and I was like, "Nah, I kinda love that." I didn't buy it, but, I guess we gotta put AT-AT 3, and also, it's still Tippet, and it's the go motion in the behind actually, that's stop motion. AT-ATs are stop motion. So yeah, 3, I think that's fine.
How about the Imperial shuttle?
I'm fine with putting that where it is. I'm fine with putting is that 8 now? I love the Imperial
Yeah.
Shuttle. I think it's such a great design. That was only in that was new for Jedi, am I right? Did that originate in Return of the
Uh,
Jedi?
I
Or was
think
it
there's a
briefly in Empire?
I it's in Empire, but that might have been a special editions thing.
See, that's what I because, like, he walks to his shuttle, and I don't know if that's changed, and same with obviously, I think there's, like, a semi-landing vehicle that sort of looks like the Imperial Shuttle in the special edition of A New Hope as well, but, yeah, I'm fine with Imperial Shuttle at 8, I guess, would be it, but give me hard ones for 9 and 10, make me feel real bad.
Let's see. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones. I can't lie. Let's see. Here's one that I like a lot. So it being 9 or 10 is gonna hurt my feelings. But the Twilight
Oh,
from
sure,
Clone Wars.
Anakin ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
Real cool. I'm fine with it being 9. It is cool though. I like that it exists. I like that he had a ship that he could tinker around with or whatever during the Clone Wars. Um, but it kind of becomes it's like climactic, right? It kind of like goes away after a while. I feel like in Clone Wars, right? It's like
It
maybe
it
Obi-Wan takes it somewhere and then you kind of like it doesn't explode. I don't know. It just never really.
well it was in like the first 2 seasons, and then like I think it was season 3 when they kind of all got costume upgrades.
Yeah.
You just kind of quit seeing it, and then in
Yeah.
season 5, Obi-Wan takes it to Mandalore, and
Yes.
Maul blows it up. So
Yes. Yeah.
it didn't even get blown up with Anakin. So see, I could be really mean and just give you X-winged and make you put it at number 10, but
Sure.
I won't do. No, I
It's
won't do that.
okay. Hey.
I'll give you. I'll do something close. I'll give you the Y-wing.
Okay. I'm fine with I mean, Y-wing wouldn't have been that low, obviously. I was always more of a B-wing guy, so Y-wing, um,
Okay.
because it started with the same initial as my name, I was like, "Great, we
Oh,
did
there you
it.
go.
Here we
There you
are."
go.
But it didn't look like a B, X does look like an X, Y-wing does look like a Y, B-wing,
Yeah. Does
T?
not look like. Yeah.
But I think they try to explain it that it's like some I forgot how Pablo tries to explain it, might even be in the book, but I think that's funny that it is not a B.
I'm very curious since you brought him up. What's it like working with Pablo and Leland Chi and the rest of the story
In the
group?
story
Because
group.
I have to imagine they have like one of the hardest but one of the most fun jobs
Yeah,
in the
they
world.
they only make work better. My interaction with them is very limited. People do it. I don't want to say for me, but I give the material. It's adjusted by story group. It's brought back to me, whatever it is, right? But all the changes I've ever seen them make, or any of the suggestions I've ever seen them make, or any of the ideas, or whatever it is, are always so smart and so like exact. You're like, oh, that's why you have this job. This is why you exist. This is
Yeah,
all really nice guys, all super smart, all love Star Wars so much, and in ways that like always surprise me. As someone who like thinks that I know a lot of, I've written the book about Star Wars, literally, right? Like you think that you know a lot, and then you meet someone that like really understands Star Wars, and you're like, ah, well, what do I
yeah,
know? And they're
yeah.
just like that.
Yeah, and I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, Lucasfilm has the Lucasfilm Story Group, and their sole purpose is to make sure, as far as from what I understand, every single piece of Star Wars, anything that comes out, goes through them, and they make
Yeah,
sure it keeps the canon correct and everything like that.
Yeah, and it's not just even keeping canon correct, it's making sure, the story is intrinsically Star Wars, that it makes sense from just, like, a storytelling perspective, anything like that too. They just have a really adept eye in just how stories are made across medium too, right? They're dealing with every single
Yeah,
type of from, the Young Jedi Adventures for preschoolers to theme parks to whatever, and I think that's a really
yeah.
it's hard work, and they're really good at it.
Speaking of theme parks, did you see the
I
theme
did.
park
It's
news
crazy
that
news. I love Galaxy's Edge. I'm curious to see how it goes. I think that if it's like an actual overlay, if I'm walking around Batuu, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in the Imperial era. It'll feel really cool. And I think that's a really cool thing that you can reskin. That's always been the talk. That's always even with Star Tours way back in the day. It was supposed to be modular.
yeah,
It was supposed to always be growing. And I think part of me will be bummed out to like not see the First Order structures, which I really do like that design. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
yeah.
Um, We'll see. I love Galaxy's Edge, and I love going, and so I'm excited to go and it be different, and see what it looks like.
Did you see that they were like, oh no, the Tie Echelon, it was an Imperial ship the whole
I
time.
did see that. I did see that. That
I
is
was like,
that I did see
really?
that. I did see that. I know what they're doing. It's all good. It will require just a little
I just thought
tweak
that was a
in the
really,
book.
really
The book.
funny,
I mean,
funny
you because
explanation.
the echelon has a page in the book. The
Let's
echelon has a
see.
page in the book, and nothing is broken. Everything works. The only thing that you have to like scuzz out, I think it says Sinar Jamis is the manufacturer, and technically Sinar Jamis was only made after the Battle of Endor. Like they because they combined two
Yeah.
uh, industries.
I don't know.
Um,
I'm trying to find
but
it. Let's see.
that can. Oh, I'm sure that they had early offices before or whatever. Yeah, it's all fine. It is. It's how Star Wars has always
Uh,
worked, and I love it. And you just gotta keep rolling. I would love
I
if they were
just
just like, oh, here's a new ship here. Here's the Imperial shuttle here. But
I was really honestly the first thing that I thought when they made that announcement this morning, I was like, are they going to change the the echelon to a lambda class Imperial shuttle?
it'd
And
be
I was like,
cool. And the other thing I wonder, they have to do it, I guess, is the Falcon dish, the
are they going to change it?
rectangle. They
Yeah, are
got
they
to
going to
change
change it
it.
back to a
But that's an
circle?
easy change. That's an easy
Yeah,
change, and that'd be a fun change. I'd be like, yeah, cool. That's cool. So
they
yeah, we'll
should
see.
change it to a circle and just see how long it takes people to notice.
It'll take people 30 seconds for someone will
Oh
run
yeah,
into the park on the first day and be like, there it is, circle, and you'll see it on 100 blogs, and it'll be fine. But yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
think it's fun. I think it's fine. The change I want to see more than anything is just more aliens in the park. I just want to see more aliens walking around in big masks. I don't care
yeah.
what era they're from, as long as it's a Rhodian or something walking around. Who cares?
You know,
Uh,
it was really funny to me because they started having uh characters like Ahsoka and Sabine and
yeah,
Mando. So I feel like they've been kind of playing with this idea for a
yeah,
while of you know I would be and I get that they're trying to keep the immersion and this that and the other thing. I would be fine if they just had characters from all eras walking around there literally all the time. I
yeah.
would not. It
It would
like
also
I
be
know
cool. It would
it would
almost be
bother
funnier
some
to do
people,
it
but
during like day. Like you could do original trilogy mornings, sequel
oh
trilogy
yeah,
afternoons. Switch them out at lunch.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Could be fun
yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I know there's a lot of people that would be bothered if it was you had like Mando walking around and then you turn a corner and there's like Jar Jar and then turn another corner and there's Kylo and like I know that would
sure.
bother a bunch of people, but I would not be one of those people. Let's see. Finally found the Tie Echelon, but yeah, I mean, I love Galaxy's Edge. Star Wars at the Disney parks is kind of like it's one of those like niche Star Wars things that I'm oddly obsessed with, like the original version of Star Tours and
Oh,
everything
you're
like
telling
that.
me. That's my favorite. Original Star Tours is my favorite. Star Tours in general is my favorite ride at Disney, even more than Rise or Yeah,
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon or whatever.
I wish they would have, not all the time, but I wish one of the, like, in the rotation of Star Tours, I wish they would put the original ride film back
Yeah,
in.
it'd be
Like, just
cool.
put it in the rotation
Yeah, it'd be cool.
along with everything
Why
else.
not?
But
Why not? It looks
yeah,
great. Beautiful effects in that one.
yeah.
Just perfect.
Um, just a few more questions before I let you go. But of all that, we've gotten a lot of, Star Wars has been kind of like, they've been doing the shows on Disney Plus, but they haven't. They've been kind of slowing down on those. But we've got some really exciting stuff upcoming in 2026 and then even beyond. Is there a project that's announced that you're really looking forward to?
You said announced, so let me think. No, Ahsoka
Or
season
not, or not
2.
announced,
No,
if you know,
yeah, if you
something
wanna.
and would
No,
like to.
I really don't. That was I don't. Ahsoka season 2 is gonna rip. I think it's gonna be super cool. I am cautiously optimistic for Starfighter. I like Ryan Gosling a lot. Not a big Sean Levy guy normally, and just like in his previous work, even the Stranger Things documentary that you mentioned, I'm sure it'll be fine and fun. But I'm excited to see what they do. And
Apparently
and
Tom
then
Cruise is directing
yeah,
lightsabers
I
on that.
saw
I don't know.
that Spielberg
I
was
don't
on set.
know. I don't know who has a lightsaber in that movie, but
Yeah, I keep hearing that it might be Amy Adams might have a lightsaber,
oh,
which
interesting.
would be cool. That was just a rumor I saw. I truly know nothing. And so yeah, I don't know, but yeah, Starfighter, Mando Grogu. I'm very excited to go see a Star Wars movie in the big screen, sit down, have fun. I'm very
Yeah,
excited for the Star Wars re-release next year, and hopefully getting like all the unaltereds, just for what that means for cinema and like how that kind of
yeah.
restores Star Wars to. I just went to the Academy Museum over the weekend. I was in LA and I went to the Academy Museum. I've gone a few times, and I
That
always
place
just
is
have
super cool.
a wonderful time, a really beautiful place. And they have a room, and it's actually right next to the original Academy Award for Star Wars for the visual effects, the Special Achievement
Yep,
Award.
yep.
And Ben Burt, who was the sound designer of Star Wars and also editor, he has a special movie that he made specifically for the Academy Museum in this like round
Yep,
semicircle, and you go in there,
yep.
and he's edited like kind of like the history of sci-fi almost, and a lot of them is Star Wars, obviously, and it's done a really compelling, really interesting way. And it has the unaltered footage in it. It has the Death Star explosion without the additional ring. And I'm like, that's interesting. Where did you get this? How did you, what is this from? So I'm very curious to see what will happen. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discourse. I'm sure it's not going to be exact. There will be changes, even if it's the unaltered.
Yeah.
There's going to be something. It's going to be like the most, like, anytime I collect 4K Blu-rays and I collect physical media, and anytime any movie gets an upgrade, it's like fine tooth comb over it. Like, what did they change? What's wrong? What's
Yeah.
better? And this will be like the ultimate version of that for this specific movie next year, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone's going to
For
be
sure.
um, all over it. So it'll be interesting, but I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Academy Museum is awesome. I was in LA, uh, golly, I guess 4 years ago now. Ooh. And the Academy Museum had like just barely opened.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I know, to see the film in that round theater that you're talking about, and they had the original Academy Award, and I want to think they had the original costumes for R2 and 3PO on
they had
display while
C3
I
on
was
R2
there.
then, and then now they
Um,
have sequels. Now they have Red Arm C3PO, which is fun to see. Yeah, and then some porgs and stuff, and like Finn's helmet with the. But yeah, it's a
yeah,
beautiful. Again, like I said, I've gone 3 times now. Always something new to see. I really love it. Um, really, and then the reason I went this time is the Jaws exhibit is there, and
oh
that's like one
yeah,
of my favorite movies of all time. And it like I was like truly gasping going around corners. It was crazy of what they still had, what Spielberg kept. I was like just kind of blown away by what was
yeah.
there. So. Very cool.
Yeah. Um, and my one of my last questions is, and this one is always interesting. Um, where this is a hypothetical question, so
Okay,
you can
I'm ready.
answer it however you would like. Um, if somebody at Lucasfilm or Disney or whoever came to you and said, "Brandon, you can create anything you want in the realm of Star Wars, book, movie, show, comic, video game, casting choice, legends to canon, anything that you say in the next 30 seconds, we're going to do, and saying no is not an option. What are you creating, or what decision are you making
Yeah.
uh, for Star Wars?
My the thing I want them to do, and not to do without me, I guess, but I want them to make a making of movie very similar to like Saving Mr. Banks, in that kind of like fictionalized
Okay.
nonfiction. And I think that'd
Yeah.
be really cool to do of the original Star Wars movie. I think that would be like awesome and
Okay.
interesting, and it'd be fun to recreate those old costumes and like kind of like, you know, do it. I do think that's also a way to kind of soft launch uh um new actors too. Like, can you imagine like, oh, here's the new Luke, Leia, and Han for this, and
Yeah.
now we'll dot them
Wow. Yeah.
into whatever. Could be
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting. Could
Yeah.
be a different way to do it. So that's one that I've always kind of had. Um,
Who would play George?
that's a great question. I've always thought there's always been a few back and forth. Um,
I just can't
what's his
decide if
name?
George. I just can't decide if George would ever let somebody play him on screen.
Yeah, I mean, people have, right? There's a fan film called George Lucas in Love that he watched and liked. I believe George Lucas was also a character on Legends of Tomorrow, very briefly.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah,
these are
maybe.
all
Yeah, maybe.
I always had a couple in my mind of who it could be, but it really just the person who I really like, um, and he's actually playing another of my favorite guys, Anthony Bourdain. His name is Dominic Sessa. He was in The Holdovers. They discovered him on that campus, and he's just like a young guy. He was in Now You See Me 3 or whatever. It was fine, but I think he could be a really good young George Lucas. I think he's about the right age too. But yeah, that
That
would
would be
be
cool.
I think that'd be fun. It'd be a funny thing to do.
That would be cool. That yeah, saving Mr. Banks style. That yeah,
It'd be cool.
I
Let's make it
really
happen.
like
Call the
really
people. Call the people.
I
Let them know that I said it, and
yeah, I really like
I
that
had 30
actually.
seconds. Yeah.
I really like that actually. Um, um, what's the future hold for you? More books, more Talking Bay.
That's a great
What's
question.
going on coming up?
Definitely more Talking Bay, some great interviews in the hopper I need to just edit. And then I just turned my last Insider article, so I don't think it's been announced yet, but the one before is a retrospective on Rogue One. And so I got to I interviewed Gareth Edwards and John Knoll and Gary Whitta about Rogue One, which was crazy. I think that's the cover story for the penultimate Insider issue. Um, and yeah, that's the major stuff. A lot of stuff coming on StarWars.com, a lot of fun stuff, and we'll see what 2026 brings. Otherwise,
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be back in Dallas at Rebel Scum Con.
I will be. I'll be at Rebel Scum Con. I'll see you there. Very excited. For Paul Houston and was it
Yeah.
Pangrazio got announced? Those are crazy names for me. Again, as someone who kind of like, that's a lot of the stuff I collect is kind of the behind the scenes, obviously, and those autographs and those things. So very excited for what that brings.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of cool guests already announced for that.
Well, and a lot more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
Knowing
sure.
those guys.
Brandon, thank you so much for coming on and talking Star Wars and
Yeah, man, of course.
hanging out. And hopefully, I can have you on again sometime and we can talk all about Insider and books
Yeah.
and
Hey, whatever
everything.
you need, let me know. Give me a ring.
And we will be back for another new episode next week to round out 4 new episodes in the month of January, which is insane. But until next time, may the force be with you.